Yes, you. Thanks for tuning in to the Healthy, Wild, and Free podcast. My name is David Benjamin. I'm your host and the founder of HealthyWildAndFree.com. If you're like me, you understand that health, the mind, body, spirit, heart connection, and living a green, eco-friendly, sustainable lifestyle are some of the most valuable and life-enhancing lessons that we can learn and pass on to our children to live happy and abundant lives. That's why this podcast was created, to help you grow in these areas. If you aren't already subscribed to the newsletter, go to HealthyWildAndFree.com, click the box at the top right-hand corner to get a free copy of our latest ebook, and you will be subscribed to be notified about future podcasts. Thanks for subscribing and tuning in. Enjoy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Benjamin from HealthyWildAndFree.com, your host of the Healthy, Wild, and Free podcast. Today we have a very special and unique guest on the show. He's a black belt, kettlebell champion, just a real-life ninja, basically. His name is Ameer Rosic. He's a registered holistic nutritionist, a functional diagnostic nutritionist, and a functional medicine practitioner. He's a leading expert in nutrition, optimal aging, methylation, fitness, and wellness. Amir is consulted worldwide and gives lectures, seminars, and certification workshops around the world. Here's your guide to living optimally. Amir endorses and teaches the martial arts philosophy of life balance and believes in the ancient teachings of Hippocrates, let food be thy medicine. Respect your body, it's your temple. And I'm going to get him on the call right now. Amir, are you there?
Hey, David. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well. How you doing?
No complaints, man. You know, another day.
That's good. Good to hear. My first question for you, and I ask all my guests this question, is how did you initially get into the kind of health, wellness, fitness space?
The fitness, I was always in it. Like, my whole life I've been martial arts since I was a child. I played a lot of soccer. I've been every single sport. I'm kind of genetically gifted. My mother was a gymnast when she was my age. My father is a brick house. He's like almost 80 right now, and he's a freak of nature. So I was always in sports. I was an active kid. I was that kid that had ADD, ADHD in elementary school, and I couldn't sit in class because, honest to God, I hated school. I could not sit down for 6 hours. It's crazy. And my whole life I was like that. But my whole path into nutrition and into like functional medicine and into optimizing yourself through whole foods diet and living a real natural life started about like 4 to 5 years ago when I went through a 2-year depressive period. So I had everything going good. I had a great, electrical construction company. My career was going well, but nothing was balanced in my life. I had this like dark cloud following me everywhere I went, and my outlook in life was absolutely horrible. Anybody who knew me in that 2 years of my life knew I was not a good person to be around with. Everything I looked at, I had the touch of death. Like, nothing turned out well. A lot of, personal stuff in my life was going bad. A lot of family stuff was going bad. A lot of stuff with my friends were going bad. And honestly, in those 2 years of my life, it was absolutely horrible. I never want to repeat those 2 years of life. But then something magical happened. One of my boxing coaches at the time said, "Hey, Amir, go check out this seminar." It's for kettlebell, and that's how I kind of introduced the whole, lifestyle of kettlebell training and so forth. But what was really magical about that workshop and seminar was I picked up a book by Art Devani called The Evolutionary Diet. I skimmed through it, bing, bang, boom, and kind of made like instinctive sense to me. Eat like a caveman. So literally the next day I dropped the grains, dropped the commercial dairy, dropped all that crappy food, and adopted a Paleolithic type of ancestral diet. And David, I'm telling you, within literally like 30 days, my life transformed. My clarity in my brain, the brain fog disappeared, the depression disappeared, my mood disappeared, like everything transformed, and I couldn't believe it. I was so like shocked on the positive changes that happened in my life in those 30 days that I decided that this is it. This is my path. I have to share this story with people. And then I went back to school to get multiple diplomas and degrees, and I've been doing that since. I've been just educating people, helping people globally, because food is truly our medicine. And the more we can like go back to how we used to eat naturally according to seasonal foods, according to what nature provides us, that's a true way that we can actually live as a natural human being and avoid all these modern day diseases.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So you said the book was called The Evolutionary Diet.
Yeah, by Art Devani.
Okay, interesting. I want to talk, definitely I want to get into quite a few topics today, but I definitely want to cover sleep in general, some of the different guidelines and things that you recommend? Because I know in Western civilization specifically, our sleep is way off. We're tired all the time. We don't get to sleep early enough. We don't get enough sleep. The quality of sleep is diminished. There's so many different things affecting our sleep in today's modern technological world. So what I would ask would be, what would be kind of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to getting enough sleep and rest and recovery for their health and physical recovery and things like that?
The number one mistake, people think they can sleep when they want to sleep. That's the number one mistake. They think, timing, like how long I sleep matters. I go to sleep at 4 a.m. in the morning and I sleep till like 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm okay. No, that's not true at all. That's completely false. You're not even following proper natural circadian cycles according to the environment. So that's the number one mistake. People think they can do whatever they want and slap nature in the face. Well, I'm here to say that nature's going to slap you right back, and that's why we're seeing a rise in cancer. We're seeing a rise in autism. We're seeing a rise in heart disease. We're seeing a rise in so many different diseases and ailments globally because we're not living according to how natural laws dictates us to live.
Mm-hmm. For the listeners that don't know what circadian rhythm is, can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, in most simplistic way, a circadian rhythm is a 24-hour clock that your hormones run on that are actually controlled by the exposure to light, right? So you always have to ask yourself, well, why do I get tired at nighttime usually? Well, because you're not exposed to the lux, to certain photons from the light during the day. So the circadian cycle is controlled by environmental cues, mechanical cues, how much you move around during the day, how much exposure you have to photons from the sun. This actually sets in motion that 24-hour clock that you have in your cells. Your cells communicate with your organs, which has their own peripheral clocks, and those clocks communicate now back to your suprachiasmatic nucleus located in your brain, which is your master clock. All these clocks are controlled by environmental cues, which run in a 24-hour clock.
Okay, gotcha. So it's basically just kind of getting on track with that clock and not working against Mother Nature's clock, if you will.
Well, yeah. For example, if you have like a $10,000 Rolex, what are you going to do? You're going to try to fix it with like a hammer, right? Or you're going to get like a fine-tuned piece of machinery to fix your $10,000 Rolex. Same thing in the body. You can't go to sleep. Like that hammer kind of is like when you want to go to sleep whenever you want. You can't. Your clocks get screwed up because it's like relay messengers. Your cell talks to your organs talk to your brain, right? So you just can't go to sleep, but your clocks are getting screwed up. They don't know what time it is. They don't know when to secrete hormones. They don't know when to shut off hormones. They don't know when to turn on neurotransmitters. They don't know when to shut off neurotransmitters. And all hormones and all neurotransmitters work on a negative feedback loop. They kind of work like dominoes. Like the analogy is if I touch a hot stove, I now know to never, ever touch that hot stove again. That's a negative feedback loop. So that's how your hormones and neurotransmitters work. They work on based on levels of how much hormones you have and at specific locations in your body, and that sets in forth motion other hormones to either go on or off. And same thing with neurotransmitters. In fact, I wrote a big blog post about this, and I did a video about it. I deal with a lot of kids as well, and because I can relate, I used to be one of them, and, ADD, ADHD, and all these doctors out there are prescribing Ritalin, Prozac, and all these pharmaceutical agents, when in reality, like your dopamine is actually controlling how you concentrate and how your focus is. Dopamine is actually controlled by your pineal gland's affinity to melatonin, right? So a lot of these kids aren't getting proper sleep, and their melatonin is quite low. Therefore, their D2, D4 receptors in their brain don't exist. If you have low melatonin, your actual concentration of dopamine, which makes you focus. Dopamine gives you that laser focus, and that's why people get high. If they play with like video games or if they on their cell phones or Facebook, they get the ding, ding, ding. That's a dopamine high. But when you don't have proper melatonin within the circulation of your body, you have very low dopamine, and therefore that's why you have these ADD tendencies. I'm not saying that's 100%, the only thing, but it's a huge, huge part of the, piece of the puzzle that. Just look at these kids. Actually, in some states right now, United States, they're starting to rewind, make the clocks forward because they're noticing their kids in the morning, they can't even function in school. I don't know what state it was. They had to put school back forward 1 hour. I think it started around 8. They put it to 9.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, on average, we slept in the 1940s, we slept on average roughly 10 hours. It was like 10 to 12 hours we slept. Can you guess on average how many hours you sleep today?
I would say maybe 7 or so, 6.
5.5.
Wow. So it's almost cut in half.
Yeah. So
Wow.
when people think they can just sleep when they want and it has nothing to do with their health, they're mistaken, because sleep is more important than diet. It's the fact sleep controls your diet. It controls how your molecules, your proteins, your vitamins, and your minerals behave in your body. Sleep controls how your hormones react the next day. Sleep controls how you repair your body. There's a reason why we sleep. It's like a battery. If you don't plug in a battery in your outlet, it dies. The same thing with sleep. When you're sleeping, it releases, it has phosphorylation. It releases certain proteins that these proteins will now accumulate during the right period, and this accumulation sets forth the chain reaction for the next day. So people really need to understand that. Don't cheat sleep. And it's funny, like I talk about this in one of my lectures, is there's something called sleep debt, like a bank. If you owe the bank $10,000, the bank's going to come knocking on your door and say, hey, David, where's my 10 grand, right? Your body's the same thing, but get this. You can't really rebuild your credit up in your body. Once you start accumulating sleep debt, that's actually causing you to have advanced aging, like accumulation of something in your mitochondria called ROS, reactive oxygen species, which is normal, but when you're not sleeping properly, it has overexpression of it, and it starts creating more of these free radical ROSs, and obviously everyone knows that free radicals are very dangerous in your body. So everything's connected, and I think everyone needs to truly understand that the number one thing, and the beauty about it, it's free, it doesn't cost you nothing, is start focusing on your sleep. Like, as soon as you start focusing on your sleep, you'll notice your attention, your mood, your energy, weight loss, hunger cues, concentration, everything who you are will improve 100-fold.
Mm-hmm. So as far as sleep is concerned, so basically, kind of like you talked about with this debt, if you will, basically if you start missing out on that sleep, it's basically causing, I think you said it was ROS, is that a form of kind of oxidative stress within the body then, or what?
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the mitochondria.
Okay.
Well, ROS is natural. You make ROS every day. It's a natural byproduct of the mitochondrial biogenesis, like